Hey guys, Romie here, so please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for Married to Medicine Season 5, Episode 10, Invitations and Revelations. So the episode, it irked me at the end so much that I was like, I'm not doing my usual setup for this. I'm not. So the episode starts off with Dr. Heavenly, and she's talking with Tawanda. Yeah, Tawanda Braxton. That's her patient, and they had a good little hee-hee-ha-ha. Tawanda's officially divorced, so she's looking for love. And I said, great, Dr. Heavenly doing her job, happy. That's beautiful, great. Now, Dr. Jackie, she goes and she's with her husband, Curtis. He took her on the picnic, and I said, now you know how big you are, Curtis. Pause. What? That's all right. On that little blanket, you cover that blanket all by anyway. So he's there, and remember, this is Dr. Jackie's way of trying to go meet him halfway and see if she can, really do this whole we are one, we are family. I was embarrassed. She was talking about how she felt uncomfortable being outside because she just feels like people are watching her. We know they are, but here's my whole thing with this whole situation. I don't see it. I think Dr. Jackie's doing what she feels like she needs to do for herself and also public perception wise, as far as people were really blaming her for the demise of her marriage, and for even the cheating. And so I feel like this is her way of trying to see if, okay, if everyone else is saying something, even if I think they're crazy, let me just go and see for myself how I feel about it. And I said, and I think that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Now, the problem is that Curtis wants to take her back to Paris because that's where they had their first trip together, and that's where she really fell in love with him. But she said she's not there. She's not there. He wanted a hug. She gave him a hug. She definitely had that look of, dang it, I love you, I really do, but I don't know if I can get over this. And I think that's fair. Now, Dr. Contessa had a date with her husband, Dr. Scott, and the date was going pretty well. They were joking. He was joking around about how, their dates would usually end with something really nice, with a nice ending, back in the day. And she was like, look, what are you talking about? He's looking at her like, you know. But most importantly, she chose date night to go and let be known that it looks like Miss Renee may not be coming back. So now Contessa more than ever is thinking about, well, what if one of us should be home? One of us essentially should be like a stay-at-home parent, because her mother worked nights so that during the day she could go and be there for her kids and do everything that she needed to do. And so Contessa feels really guilty because she's like, she knows that in general, both of them, they're not there enough with their kids. And he hears her, he understands, and he honestly says, if we were in a different financial situation, meaning if we didn't go and buy this big house 2 years ago, then yeah, I would have said, why not? Let's go for it. But because we just got this big house, obviously not done paying for it yet, they need to hold off. And she's looking at him like, I wasn't going to do this tomorrow, but it's definitely something I want to do. And I understand. I understand, because originally she was pegging it as, well, one of us needs to do it. And he was just like, for how his job is, he doesn't think that's going to work, period. She has more flexibility with her office and all of that. But I feel like she's the one that really, since she brought it up, she's the one that really wants to do it anyway. So we'll see what happens. Now, Dr. Simone and Cecil, their relationship is already better. She comes home, and she was able to come home early, so that always helps. But second, he is working on Kids Force, and she gets him a drink and all that. And I said, oh, okay, this is cute. Now, his whole thing is he wants to bring her in as the face of Kids Force because she's a woman, she's a mother, she's a doctor. She checks all the boards as far as people trusting her, especially with something having to do with kids. And so then he brings in their longtime friend and a business partner, and essentially goes over the numbers, goes over everything, and she believes in it. She believes that it can work, and she's in. She wasn't happy about how it was initially done, as far as without her consent, taking out the money and all of that, but she's in now, so that's all that matters. Now, Toya, she goes and she has a little date with, well, actually, it's not a date. her and Eugene, they're out and about, because their original house, remember we saw that original house, the original house that they were in, they had someone renting it, and now it's at the point where that renter's going, and they have two options: try to get another renter, or go and sell it. Now, in the meantime, if they have to sell it, they have to do renovations, they have to do all these different things, they'll lose around $60,000 because they bought their house during the housing crisis right in 2008. So the inflation was crazy at that time. And so now they're definitely not going to make the money back. But Toya realizes her husband's working super hard. He's super stressed out. She's not trying to make things harder for him. So she just says, at this point, we should just go and sell it, move on, because it could be an extra $3,000 per month for them to pay. You know, if it ends up them having to pay the mortgage themselves. Because the person that they had in there only paid the mortgage. And no, I'm sorry. Paid enough essentially to cover the mortgage. And that was it. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. What business partner did you have at that time? That should have never happened. You should have been making something a little bit more than that. But this is them we're talking about. So now Quad, she wants to do this cooking show. So she went down to the station, this media news station, and she's doing this cooking show to promote a book line, because it's the natural progression. Let people see you cooking, doing all that stuff, get you familiar with it, because you want the book to sell. You want it to do well. You can make money off of those books. Let's be very clear about that. So, and Quad definitely, every time she makes something, it looks good. See, that's the thing I will give her. This season, we've seen her cook every episode, and that's really important to kind of paint it home. And even partially last season, about, I'm going to sell you this product, but I need to show you that I can do it. I can show you that I can do it, and here's how. Now, it was, what I will say was funny was when Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone were in the car. You know, sometimes they carpool because they're kids. They're close enough in age where they're in the same school. So Aurora and Michael were in the back of Dr. Heavenly's. Now, I know that was a Mercedes, but I said, that's an older Mercedes. I said, I respect the realness. I respect the realness, because anyway, it was when Dr. Heavenly said, when she said, you know, Michael, honey, you looked kind of funny when you were younger. That's what Simone looked at her like, girl, do I need to go and meet you out in the back for 5 minutes to tell you why you ain't never gonna do something like that ever again? You can do that about these other chicks in our group, but not my son. And Michael's just like, I know, with the glasses or without, I did look funny. Simone was like, well, Aurora, would you like it if I said Aurora looked funny? Poor Aurora. Aurora said, well, please don't do it. So anyway, the reason why they're in the car together is because Dr. Simone originally was supposed to be handling this trip, this couple's trip, and their plans to go to the Bahamas. But Dr. Heavenly, well, actually, I'm sorry. Let's rewind a little bit. Dr. Heavenly decided that she wanted to, since Damon, his family is from the Caribbean, or part of his family is from the Caribbean, what about doing a trip to the Bahamas? So we're saying that's a great idea. The issue is everyone's going to be invited. Now, should everyone be invited? No. If this is Dr. Heavenly's trip, why is everyone being invited? I get it, growth and all that, but you need to also meet people where they are. We know how Dr. Heavenly is. So next thing we know, she's talking to Toya and talking about this trip. And it's this whole thing of Toya likes Mariah. So Toya and Simone both expect Mariah to be there. Dr. Heavenly doesn't want no Mariah to be there. I said, that's fair. You two have issues. And especially with what just happened. You know how fake it is to go and say, oh, well, you know, I want to invite you to it. That comes up. Now, Cecil, he's getting ready for his event, for the Kids Force event. I do like the branding. Everyone shows up. And when I say everyone shows up who's on this season, everyone shows up. Even Mariah, Contessa, Dr. Jackie, all of them. Now, Dr. Heavenly feels a certain way because she's upset that, you know, it almost sounded like she was upset that Mariah was not talking to her, purposely trying to ignore her. I'm thinking, you two had this big blow up. You two don't really like each other. Like, what's the problem? Oh, Mariah brought, oh, what was her name? She was on that other WeTV reality show about LA Weave or Hair of Atlanta, whatever show it was that had the you know, the mean African lady, and why can't I remember their names right now? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about if you saw that episode. But Dr. Simone was talking to Mariah, and Mariah was just saying, you know, I can't be friends with someone that keeps going below the belt doing the yo mama thing. And I said, well, that's fair. But also for Dr. Heavenly, she was upset because she's saying she can't be friends with someone who consistently goes and does stuff and then acts like she's not doing stuff to you, or trying to make it seem like, oh, well, because I'm over it, then we should all be over it. I said, that's fair too. So why is the group trying to push these two together? Or more specifically, Toya and Dr. Simone, you two need to stop. But out a little bit. A little bit. As in a lot. As in just don't do it. They're too grown. Now, Cecil does his presentation. Obviously, Cecil was nervous, but he got through it. Dr. Simone's there to assist as we'll just call her the face of the brand ambassador. The commercial was really cute. The concept is you essentially go onto this website and you say you have a job that needs to be filled, but again, you have to sign up prior to. So this isn't, and the background check, on average, that takes like a couple of days. Sometimes it can be like 2 days, but it's not just a couple hours and the background check is fully done. Or at least that's not how it should be, especially since we're talking about kids. But Quad comes, she comes very late. I said, yeah, but that's usual, at least for this show. Quad comes, but she asked a good question. Now, what are you doing to make sure that the kids are safe, as far as make sure there's no like pedophiles or molesters? And he said, well, we do a comprehensive nationwide background search on them prior to them asking or putting up jobs. And I said, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Obviously, that doesn't solve the issue of what if someone's cooked for Cocoa Puffs and you just don't know it. But that's the thing with these things. Of course, there's going to be some risk. If there was no risk, there'd be no real reward. So we'll see how it goes. It's a great concept. And I'd rather one of us try and do it. And even if we stumble, come back stronger, than just say, you know what, because it's complicated, because it has to do with kids, I don't know if it's something we can do. And then someone else goes and does it and it's a success. No, you need to stop being afraid. Now, Quad talks to Dr. Heavenly again because Dr. Heavenly's still upset about how she feels like Mariah's, it's just the fake and phoniness with it, and it's not fair. And so then once Mariah comes around, because now it's time for Mariah sees, oh, okay, they must be talking about me. She goes over there, she's talking, and things take a turn because Toya, being Toya, she just has to say something. So she goes and lets it be known that, now wait a minute. Why are you, I just feel like you two over there, as in Heavenly and Quad, you say you're over things. You say you're over things, but then your attitude or how you act, or you go and become standoffish and all of that. And that's not fair. So then I forgot what Quad said she was. But Toya read the definition. What was it? Oh, yeah. Because Quad was saying she can be cordial. And even though Toya read that direction, I said, Toya's not wrong. A lot of people kind of forget that cordial, it's not just, oh, even though I don't like you, we just won't fight if we're in the same room. That's how some people act. No. Cordial means Even if you don't like someone, you pretty much act like you like them. Cordial is almost another way of saying fake. Let's just call it what it is. Cordial is almost another way of saying fake, because if you really don't like someone, I'm not talking, I'm not giving them the time of day, so I'm not cordial. And it doesn't hurt my feelings that I'm not cordial. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But Mariah, again, she was just hurt because she's like, how can I be cordial with someone who constantly keeps bringing up the Yo Mama stuff? And I said, okay, that's true. Quad started to get upset because, again, those two, they just genuinely have issues with each other about, you did this to me, you did that to me. Quad's like, Mariah, you don't own up to the stuff that you do. Mariah's like, well, Quad, but your demeanor and all of that. And I'm thinking, you're really about to have this blow up at this event. Simone, get your friends. Get your friends. So once they get separated, this is what really irked me, because Simone brought Heavenly downstairs. Heavenly was really upset because I think Heavenly, it was either up there or downstairs, also said your mama again. It was like, you know what, essentially like, forget you, forget your mama, I don't care type of thing. And everyone's looking at her like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Now, I really didn't like the fact that Dr. Simone told Heavenly, why don't you invite Mariah to the Bahamas? And Mariah was like, well, you know, even though I normally wouldn't want to go because I know Heavenly doesn't want me to go, I'm going to go. I said, wow, this whole situation is a mess. And not even a funny one, not even an entertaining one. It's stupid. It's really stupid because they don't like each other. They don't. Yeah, so Heavenly got upset because Mariah was starting to get, I guess, loud. And Heavenly was like, I'm trying to apologize. Why don't you go? And allow me to apologize. And Heavenly, of course, she was like, look, Mariah, look, B. And Mariah's like, B, who are you calling to B? I said, this is the problem. That word only works when you're okay with someone. If you're not, then it's offensive. And that whole concept's stupid to me. But okay, if that's what we're going with, if that's what we're gonna go with, and now they have to be separated. But I'm so irritated because, like I said, Heavenly, how she goes 0 to 100. Did Mariah deserve all of that? No. Are we gonna act like Mariah didn't do anything, period, to warrant an argument? No, we're not doing that either. But let's be very clear. Heavenly needs to chill out. We've been telling her, guys, I had to drop the doctor. She needs to chill out, because that type of, oh, as soon as I'm upset, because they're like, parents and kids, Heavenly, we're supposed to have a limit. Heavenly is from the old school of, there is no limit. If I don't like you, then, but that's the problem. Don't act like, or don't try to make go with someone and then go and do that. That is the actual issue. If you two just didn't like each other going back and forth, and I would have said, yep, that's right. Say what you need to say. But no. And all of you need to stop trying to get these women to go and be friends. They're not friends. It's like fetch. You can't make fetch happen.